Hi friends, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Ebony. I'm a furniture artist and I specialize in taking neglected pieces of furniture and turning them into something beautiful. In today's video, I'll be transforming these nightstands. I found these ones on Facebook Marketplace for $15 for the pair, so $7.50 per nightstand, which I think is a great price. And I'm gonna be honest with you, these nightstands today are going to serve as more of a practice piece, and I'll talk more about that here in a little bit. But just to jump right in, you guys know I like to start by removing all of my hardware, and then from there, I'm gonna go ahead and clean everything with soap and water. So I wanted to take it easy with my scuff sanding because of the material of the nightstands. So I'm just doing a very light scuff sand by hand using a medium grit sandpaper. Okay, so this next piece of advice is very important, so I want you to listen closely. So you guys would have seen in my last video that I upgraded from my siphon fed gun to a gravity fed gun, and now I've decided that I also wanted to use this same gun for my primer. So I went to Harbor Freight and I purchased a second gun. Now you always want to check your box to make sure that this little strainer piece is in the packaging. People will steal that out of the box. I've seen it happen. And of course, I forgot to check my box, and of course, it was missing. So I pulled the one out of my paint gun, and now I'm just gonna interchange them between my primer gun and my paint gun, which is very unfortunate. But you can buy more of these on Amazon, and you should be changing them out periodically anyway. So it's just good to have them on hand. I currently don't have any, so I'm just gonna use the same strainer for both guns. And now to assemble the gun, I just wanted to give you a quick step-by-step. You're gonna start by just cutting off some plumber's tape. You can definitely just tear it off by hand. And then you're gonna wrap that around the base of the gun. This is going to give you a nice airtight seal. The strainer will just pop right into the top. And then I like to use this crate to hold my gun up for now. I don't have a paint gun stand, so that's what I do. You need to attach your coupler to the bottom of the gun, and then you always want to use a strainer, whether you're pouring primer, paint, or whatever it is. I always strain my product. To clean the primer out of my gun, I just use ammonia, and I get that at my local $1.25 store. Okay, so this next step is very key when trying to achieve a nice smooth finish, and that is to give everything a nice good sanding in between your primer and your paint. Preferably, I like to use a 400 grit sandpaper, but I don't have any at the moment, so I'm using a 220 grit sandpaper. Okay, so moving right along, I first wanted to share the color choice for today, and this is a color of the year by Sherwin-Williams called Urban Bronze. I'm sure some of you all are familiar with this color. I think it's an absolutely beautiful color, and it's something I've been wanting to try for the longest. Now, the paint choice for today is actually Evershield by Dunn Edwards, and I used this same paint a couple of videos ago when I did my green dresser. It was very regal and it was a beautiful piece. Go ahead and check out that video. But I used the same paint back then, and I wasn't really the biggest fan. I didn't feel like it dried hard enough for me, and I really wanted to give it another chance. And so I finally came to my conclusion regarding this paint, and I wanted to share that with you guys. So ultimately, I've decided against this paint. Unfortunately, it just doesn't give me life. I feel like it's very thick, first of all. So with this particular gun, it made things really difficult. I did like this paint better when I used my siphon fed gun, but with it being so thick, the gravity fed gun it's not a good combination, especially because I don't thin my paint. You might even be able to see some of the strokes here on the side of the nightstand. That was another issue I had. I do believe it was because of the thickness of the paint. I did adjust the pressure on my compressor. I adjusted the controls on the actual gun. And of course, it would start spraying great at first spray, but the longer I sprayed, the more the paint would kind of get clogged up, and it wasn't really just spraying as flawlessly as when I first started. So that's one thing about it. And then two, I just feel like it doesn't dry hard enough, fast enough. So at this point, my other paints, not at this point, but usually after I finish painting my pieces, within a day or two, it has a nice hard finish, very durable feeling, and I just don't get that with this paint. I feel like I have to be very sensitive and very gentle when moving these nightstands around, and even in staging it just leaves kind of like a dust mark or like some sort of imprint. So I definitely believe after the 30 days it will be nice and hard, but I really don't like having to wait that long, and that's just my overall opinion of this paint. And the last step before we get into the reveal is to go ahead and polish the hardware. I did a 50-50 ratio of white vinegar and water, and I boiled the hardware for 10 minutes, and then I polished it back with Barkeeper's Friend and steel wool, and here are the results. Okay, so there you have it. That concludes the results of my nightstand makeover. And unfortunately, that was not my best work. And to be honest, I think I'm gonna go ahead and move on from trying to save money on paint. And for now, I'm just gonna go ahead and spend the $80 on the gallon, because the peace that I have in knowing that I'm selling quality work is unmatched. And I really don't have peace about the quality of these nightstands, and I'm honestly not gonna sell them for very much. And I'm just grateful that I learned such a valuable lesson on such a small scale. It was something I needed to know for just moving forward in the business, and I'm just grateful that, you know, it's not a huge loss. I spent $15 on the nightstands, $15 on the paint, and I learned something that was so valuable. So although the expensive paint is going to take a toll financially, the quality of my work will counter that, and that's so worth it to me. So with that being said, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button on your way out. And I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching.